Tornor Dobie and Anisha Jackson, you've already heard that around the time of their death, they were in a dating relationship, kind of off and on, and it was pretty dramatic and tumultuous and toxic. You'll learn that on June 26th of this year, they were both shot and killed, resulting in a double homicide that occurred here in Allen County off of Hamilton Avenue and Smith Street. You'll learn that Anisha drove the defendant as well as Queen Gaylor to Tornor's mother's home on Hamilton Avenue. You can see them here. So this is Anisha's blue car she's driving. This is Queen in the yellow, and that's Shan Ford, our defendant this week. And this is Tornor's mother's house. This is just a still shot of that surveillance video that we all keep talking about that you'll see eventually in this case. She drove them there, and their goal in mind was to attack Tornor. They knew he was there, and that's what they were there to do. You'll learn that Shan and Queen went up to the front porch. This is just a crime scene photo, so it's not going to play anything. But they went up to that front porch. Shan knocked on the door, and when a child answered, he tried to push the door through and go into the house. Tornor luckily got that door closed and locked, but after that, Shan drew his gun, and he had it out ever after that. He starts yelling to the house, come outside, or I'm gonna shoot the house up, I'm gonna air it out, I'm gonna kick the door in. He's yelling these threats to Tornor. And Tornor knows they're there for him. You're gonna learn that the one child that opened that door isn't the only one in the house. There were several under the age of 10. And Tornor feels like he has to do something, right? He's trapped, they're there for him, he's terrified. So he gets his brother's gun and he opens that front door. And when he does that, the defendant immediately and with no hesitation starts firing. And he fires off 13 rounds. And those placards that you see are indicative of the key scenes he left behind. Tornor is struck in the chest. He manages to fire back somewhere between 3 and 5 shots, but he dies very quickly. Sadly, Tornor's shots, though, struck Anisha, who was in that blue car. One of his shots hit her, and she also died. You'll learn Anisha's car drove off and crashed. You can see it down here. So here's Tornor's house. Anisha's car ends up down here, crashed, where she later dies. And that's taken from some drone footage that you'll learn more about later. And that's really our case, right? So these next few slides, I want to talk about the types of witnesses that you'll hear from and kind of how you can place them as they take the stand for you. So we have civilians that you'll hear from. Miranda Goodman is Tornor's mother. She'll kind of talk to you about who her son was. Tony Jackson is Anisha's older sister, kind of the same thing. Tyshawn Hill is Tornor's younger brother, who's in the house with him when this happened. So he's kind of your first-hand account of what took place. And then Tyler Wallace, he's a FedEx driver who was driving by. He'll tell you some things he overheard and what he saw happen that day. He just happened to be in the area when this happened. Law enforcement, of course, right, the meat and potatoes of every case. You'll hear from responding officers, and then you'll hear from Detective Goodman, the lead homicide detective on this case. And then we kind of have our CSI witnesses, of course, so you'll have crime scene technicians. You'll hear from a fingerprint expert. I'll tell you right now, she didn't find much, but we always test things in cases. DNA experts, when things get swabbed and tested. You'll hear from a firearms analyst. You will learn the defendant's gun left the scene with him, but Tornor's gun that he used was obviously there with him when he died. And you'll hear from the pathologist, Dr. Emery, who did the autopsy on both of them. And there's really 3 main themes to this case, things we'd like you to pay special attention to. So obviously that surveillance video we keep talking about is huge to this case, right? The physical evidence from the scene and how it lines up with the facts in this case. And then the defendant's actions. Pay attention to what he did, what he said, what his intent looks like it was. And that's all gonna lead us back here to the charges in this case. The judge went over them. You're gonna hear these elements over and over again. The defendant, while acting in concert with Queen, did knowingly intentionally kill Tornor Dobie, right? That's murder. And then we have that felony murder. The defendant, while acting in concert with Queen, did knowingly intentionally kill Anisha while committing or attempting to commit burglary. That's pushing through that front door, the ongoing circumstance of that. And then attempted burglary. Same few. Did attempt to break and enter the dwelling of Tornor, located at 1023 Hamilton Avenue, with the intent to commit a felony or theft therein. And that's really it. So thank you all for being here. You've given us your time, but you're going to hear and see a lot of evidence the next few days. But ultimately you're here because Tornor and Anisha no longer are. And we're going to ask you to hold the defendant accountable for that at the end of this trial.
Thank you all.